why she rejected him for being too nice. Marcus Aurelius. He thought kindness would be enough. He listened, he cared, he was patient, he was always available, he never argued, he always said yes. Then one day, she walked away. He believed she rejected kindness. Marcus Aurelius would have disagreed. She didn't reject kindness. She rejected a man who had quietly abandoned himself. That sentence has confused countless men. They replay every conversation, every message, every sacrifice, every moment they chose someone else's happiness over their own. And they ask themselves the same painful question. What did I do wrong? Most people answer too quickly. They say, women don't like nice men. The Stoics would never have accepted such a shallow explanation. Marcus Aurelius would have asked a much deeper question. Was he truly kind? Or was he hoping kindness would purchase something that only character can earn? Those are not the same thing. Real kindness gives because it is an expression of virtue. False kindness gives because it secretly expects a reward, affection, approval, acceptance, love. The action may look identical. The motive changes everything. Imagine a tree that offers shade to everyone who walks beneath it. It never asks who deserves it. It never keeps score. It never wonders whether people are grateful. It simply gives because that is its nature. Now imagine another tree that whispers, I gave you shade. Now you owe me something in return. The shade is the same. The spirit behind it is completely different. Marcus Aurelius believed virtue worked exactly the same way. The value of a good action never depended on what it received in return. It depended entirely upon the character from which it came. Many men slowly lose themselves without noticing. They stop expressing honest opinions. They avoid difficult conversations. They apologize for things they did not do. They sacrifice their own needs before anyone even asks. Not because they are compassionate, because they are afraid. Afraid of disappointing someone, afraid of conflict, afraid of rejection, afraid of being left behind. Eventually, they begin calling that fear kindness. Marcus Aurelius understood this danger. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he reminds himself that he will encounter selfish, impatient, dishonest, and difficult people. Yet nowhere does he suggest abandoning his principles to gain their approval. His responsibility is not to secure acceptance. It is to remain faithful to virtue regardless of how others respond. That changes everything. Because a Stoic never asks, how do I make someone love me? He asks, can I remain a good man even if they don't? One question creates dependence. The other creates freedom. The purpose of this conversation is not to criticize kindness. The world desperately needs kind people. But it needs something even more. Men whose kindness comes from strength instead of fear. From conviction instead of insecurity. From self-respect instead of self-sacrifice. Because those two forms of kindness lead to completely different lives. One slowly erases a man's identity. The other quietly reveals it. The difference is almost invisible until you begin looking beneath the surface. Because the first mistake many men make is believing kindness is still a virtue, even when it has quietly become a transaction. Kindness stops being virtue when it expects a reward. There is a form of kindness that makes a man stronger. There is another form of kindness that slowly makes him disappear. From the outside, they often look exactly the same. Both men give. Both men help. Both men sacrifice. Both men appear generous. Only one of them is acting from freedom. The other is quietly negotiating. That is the difference Marcus Aurelius wanted us to understand. Virtue gives, transaction expects. Many men confuse the two. Imagine offering someone a gift. If they smile, you feel happy. If they refuse it, you become angry. Was it ever truly a gift? Or was it an invisible contract? The Stoics believed every action reveals its true nature the moment reality refuses to reward it. Real kindness survives rejection. Transactional kindness cannot, because it was never built upon virtue. It was built upon expectation. Many men never realize this is happening. They tell themselves, "I'm only trying to make her happy." But beneath that sentence, another one quietly exists. If I make her happy, she'll choose me. She'll stay. She'll love me. Without realizing it, kindness has become a bargain, not a virtue. Marcus Aurelius would never have condemned generosity. He practiced it constantly. But he also understood that virtue loses its purity the moment it becomes dependent on the reaction of another person. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he reminds himself that people will often behave in selfish, dishonest, and unreasonable ways. Yet he never suggests changing his conduct to earn a better response. His commitment is to act according to virtue because virtue is right, not because virtue guarantees appreciation. That distinction changes every relationship. Imagine a candle lighting another candle. It loses nothing by giving its flame. It does not ask to be thanked. It does not demand another flame in return. It simply shares what it already possesses. The Stoics believed kindness should work the same way. When goodness flows naturally from character, it remains peaceful. When goodness becomes an investment expecting emotional profit, resentment quietly begins growing. Think about how often people say, "After everything I did for her, after all the sacrifices I made." Those words reveal something important. The kindness has already become an accounting system. Every favor has been recorded. Every sacrifice has been remembered. Every act of generosity now expects repayment. That is no longer virtue. It is emotional commerce. The Stoics refused to live that way. They believed that a good man acts well because that is who he is, not because he hopes someone else will become who he wants them to be. Ironically, the moment kindness stops asking for rewards, it becomes far more powerful. Because it is no longer controlled by outcomes. It remains steady whether it is appreciated, ignored, or even rejected. That is real strength. Not giving because you are afraid to lose someone. Giving because your character would choose the same action regardless. Once a man understands that, he begins noticing something even more uncomfortable. Many of the actions he once called kindness were never driven by compassion at all. They were driven by fear, and fear has a remarkable ability to disguise itself as goodness. People-pleasing is fear. Wearing the mask of kindness, there is a sentence many men quietly repeat throughout their lives. "I don't want conflict." It sounds wise, patient, mature, kind. Sometimes it is. But sometimes, it is fear wearing the mask of kindness. That is the danger Marcus Aurelius wanted us to recognize. Not every peaceful man is at peace. Some have simply become afraid of what happens when they disagree. Imagine a man standing before every crossroads in his life. He always chooses the path that disappoints him the least and pleases everyone else the most. Year after year, his life becomes easier for everyone around him, except himself. The Stoics understood that avoiding conflict is not always an act of compassion. Sometimes, it is an act of self-abandonment. Many men mistake emotional comfort for virtue. They think, if I stay quiet, nobody will be upset. If I always agree, the relationship will survive. If I never disappoint anyone, I'll finally be loved. Those thoughts sound gentle, but they are built upon fear. Fear of rejection. fear of loneliness, fear of disappointing someone, fear of no longer being needed. Marcus Aurelius would never have called that kindness, because genuine virtue is chosen freely. Fear is not. The person who cannot say no is not choosing kindness. He is surrendering his freedom. That changes the meaning of every sacrifice he makes. Imagine a bird sitting inside an open cage. The door is unlocked. It could leave at any moment. Yet it remains inside because it has forgotten it possesses wings. Many people live the same way. No one forces them to agree. No one forces them to apologize. No one forces them to ignore their own needs, yet they continue doing it because they have become prisoners of approval. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he prepares himself to meet difficult, selfish, dishonest, and unreasonable people. Yet before meeting any of them, he makes one decision. Their behavior will never dictate his own. His commitment is not to keep everyone pleased. His commitment is to remain faithful to justice, reason, and virtue. That lesson reaches far beyond philosophy. It reaches every relationship. Because people-pleasing slowly creates a dangerous illusion. The more you abandon yourself, the more you believe others will value you. The opposite usually happens. People begin trusting what is consistent, not what is endlessly accommodating. Imagine building a bridge that bends every time someone walks across it. At first, people appreciate its flexibility. Eventually, they stop trusting its strength. Character works the same way. When a man changes his principles to satisfy every expectation, others no longer know where he truly stands. Without realizing it, he has sacrificed the very thing that creates respect, his integrity. The Stoics believed kindness without courage eventually becomes dishonesty. Because you begin saying yes when your conscience says no. You begin smiling when your heart feels wounded. You begin agreeing when reason tells you otherwise. That is not peace. It is quiet surrender. Real kindness sometimes creates discomfort. Real kindness sometimes disappoints. Real kindness sometimes speaks difficult truths, not because it enjoys conflict, because it values honesty more than temporary approval. The strongest man is not the one who avoids every disagreement. He is the one who remains respectful without becoming afraid of disagreement. And when a man finally stops living to avoid disappointing everyone else, he begins recovering something far more valuable than approval. He begins recovering himself. The man who forgets himself cannot build respect. Respect is not lost in a single moment. It disappears quietly. One compromise at a time, one silence at a time, one unnecessary apology at a time, one abandoned principle at a time. Most men never notice it happening, because every sacrifice seems small. Every concession feels harmless. Every act of accommodation appears loving, until one day they look in the mirror and realize something unsettling. They no longer recognize the man looking back. Marcus Aurelius understood that the greatest loss a person can suffer is not losing another human being. It is losing himself. Imagine a sculptor creating a magnificent statue. Every day, instead of shaping the marble according to his vision, he allows another person to remove a piece. One says, "Change the face." Another says, "Make the shoulders smaller." Another says, "Carve it differently." At first, the changes seem insignificant. Eventually, the sculpture no longer reflects the artist. It reflects everyone else's preferences. Many men build their identity the same way. They constantly adjust themselves. They soften their opinions. They suppress their convictions. They hide their ambitions. They laugh when something hurts. They agree when they disagree. They become whoever they believe will be accepted. Little by little, their personality stops belonging to them. The Stoics believed this was one of the most dangerous forms of self-betrayal. Not because compromise is always wrong, because constant compromise eventually leaves nothing solid behind. Marcus Aurelius refused to live that way. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he reminds himself that difficult people will always exist. Some will misunderstand him. Some will oppose him. Some will behave unfairly. Yet none of them possesses the authority to change his principles. His responsibility is not to reshape himself according to every encounter. It is to preserve his character through every encounter. That lesson transforms every relationship. Many men believe respect is earned by constant sacrifice. The Stoics believed respect begins when sacrifice remains consistent with virtue. There is an enormous difference. Sacrificing comfort for someone you love is noble. Sacrificing honesty is not. Sacrificing convenience is generous. Sacrificing self-respect is destructive. Imagine an anchor resting beneath the ocean. Storms arrive. Powerful waves crash against the ship. The anchor moves slightly, but it never abandons the seabed. That is why the ship survives. Character must become that anchor, flexible enough to show compassion, strong enough never to abandon itself. People instinctively trust men who know where they stand, not because those men are stubborn, because they are stable. They know what they believe. They know what they value. They know what they will accept, and they know what they will not. That quiet certainty creates something many people mistake for confidence. It is something deeper. It is integrity. Ironically, the more a man abandons himself to keep another person, the more difficult it becomes for that person to respect him. Not because sacrifice is unattractive, because authenticity slowly disappears. The relationship is no longer built between two real people. It is built between one real person and one carefully edited version of another. The Stoics never taught men to become whatever others wanted. They taught them to become fully themselves, because only a man who remains faithful to his own character has something genuine to offer another person. And once a man rediscovers himself, he learns one of the most misunderstood truths about love. Love is not protected by endless sacrifice. It is protected by healthy boundaries. Boundaries protect love more than sacrifice. Many people believe love grows through endless sacrifice. The Stoics believed love survives through healthy boundaries. Those are not the same thing. Sacrifice says, "I'll lose myself for you." A boundary says, "I'll remain myself while loving you." One creates dependency. The other creates respect. Imagine a beautiful garden surrounded by a simple wooden fence. The fence is not there because the flowers hate visitors. It is there because beautiful things need protection if they are going to keep growing. Character works the same way. Boundaries are not walls. They are evidence of self-respect. They tell the world, "I know what I value. I know what I will protect. I know where my responsibility ends." Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He never believed that being a good man required saying yes to everything. A good man acts with justice. Justice sometimes requires generosity. Justice sometimes requires refusal. Both can be acts of virtue. The difference is found in wisdom. Many men believe boundaries push people away. The opposite is often true. Healthy boundaries create emotional safety because people know where you stand. They know your words mean something. They know your kindness is genuine, not something offered out of fear. Imagine building a house without foundations. The walls may look beautiful. The roof may seem perfect. But every storm slowly weakens the entire structure. Eventually, the house collapses. Relationships built without boundaries follow the same pattern. Everything feels peaceful until pressure arrives. Then, years of silent resentment suddenly appear, not because love disappeared, because honesty was postponed for too long. The Stoics refused to postpone honesty. Marcus Aurelius reminds himself in Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, that he will meet people who behave selfishly, unfairly, and without reason. Yet he never concludes that virtue requires surrendering to them. His duty is to respond with justice, patience, and self-command, while remaining faithful to what is right. Compassion never requires abandoning principle. That distinction changes everything. A boundary is not punishment. It is clarity. It tells another person, I care about you, but I also care about the values that make me who I am. There is remarkable strength in that sentence, because it refuses two extremes. It refuses domination. It also refuses self-erasure. The Stoic chooses neither. He chooses integrity. Think about the strongest trees in a forest. They bend with the wind. They do not surrender their roots. That is exactly how healthy boundaries work. They allow flexibility. They never abandon identity. Many men believe saying no will cost them love. Sometimes it will. But the Stoics would ask a more important question. What kind of love survives only while you betray yourself? If affection depends upon your silence, your constant agreement, your endless availability, your willingness to abandon your convictions, then what is being loved? Your character or your compliance? That question changes the entire relationship, because respect cannot grow where self-respect has disappeared. People instinctively trust men who protect their principles with quiet confidence, not aggressively, not arrogantly, simply consistently. That consistency creates security. Security creates trust. Trust allows love to deepen. Ironically, the man who respectfully says no when conscience requires it often becomes far more dependable than the man who says yes to everything, because one can be believed, the other can only be predicted. And once a man understands that boundaries protect love instead of threatening it, he begins seeing another illusion that traps countless relationships. Being appreciated is not always the same as being truly loved. Approval is not affection. One of the most painful mistakes a man can make is confusing appreciation with love. At first, the difference is almost impossible to see. She appreciates your help, your patience, your generosity, your reliability. She enjoys having you close. She trusts you. She thanks you. Everything seems to point in one direction. Then one day, she says, "You're an amazing person. But I don't feel that way about you." Many men hear those words and reach the wrong conclusion. They believe kindness failed. Marcus Aurelius would have asked another question. What exactly was she rejecting? Because appreciation is not affection, respect is not romance, gratitude is not attraction, dependence is not love. The Stoics understood that confusing these things creates unnecessary suffering. Imagine a traveler resting beneath a great tree. The shade protects him from the sun. He is deeply grateful. He may even love returning to that place. But gratitude for the shade does not mean he belongs to the tree. Many relationships quietly become trapped in the same misunderstanding. A man begins measuring love by usefulness. The more he gives, the more valuable he believes he becomes. Without realizing it, he slowly replaces his identity with his usefulness. Marcus Aurelius never measured human worth that way. A person's value did not depend upon how indispensable he became to someone else. It depended upon the quality of his character. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, He reminds himself that every person will act according to their own understanding, their own nature, and their own judgments. His responsibility is not to control those judgments. His responsibility is to remain just, wise, and faithful to virtue, regardless of how others respond. That lesson becomes life-changing in relationships. You cannot earn genuine affection by abandoning yourself. You cannot negotiate attraction through endless accommodation. You cannot purchase love with constant availability, because love is freely given. Anything purchased through self-sacrifice eventually becomes obligation. And obligation is one of the fastest ways to extinguish affection. Think about the difference between a lighthouse and a rescue boat. A rescue boat constantly leaves the shore trying to save everyone. A lighthouse remains firmly where it stands. It serves others, not by chasing them, but by remaining true to its purpose. The Stoics believed a good man should become like the lighthouse, reliable, steady, principled. Not because he wants to be admired, because he refuses to abandon himself. Ironically, that quiet strength often creates far deeper respect than endless accommodation ever could. Many men secretly hope, if I become everything she needs, she will eventually choose me. The Stoics gently challenge that belief. Becoming necessary is not the same as becoming loved. Someone may appreciate your presence, depend on your support, trust your reliability, and still not experience romantic affection. That reality is painful, but it is also liberating, because it frees you from trying to earn what can only be freely offered. The Stoic understands something many people spend years resisting. Your responsibility is not to control another person's heart. It is to govern your own, to act with integrity, to love without bargaining, to give without secretly negotiating, to remain kind without becoming dependent on the outcome. Because the moment kindness stops asking, will this make them choose me? It becomes what Marcus Aurelius believed it was always meant to be, an expression of character, not a strategy for acceptance. And once a man truly understands that, he discovers that the strongest form of kindness has never been the inability to disappoint others. It is the courage to say no when virtue requires it. The strongest kindness can say no. Many people believe kindness means making life easier for everyone else. The Stoics believed kindness means doing what is right. Those are not always the same thing. Sometimes, the kindest word is yes. Sometimes, the kindest word is no. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Imagine a physician standing beside a patient. The patient begs for something that will bring immediate comfort. The physician knows it will cause greater harm tomorrow. What is the compassionate choice? To satisfy the request or to refuse it? The refusal may create disappointment. It may even create anger, yet it remains an act of care. Marcus Aurelius believed virtue often works the same way. Real kindness is not measured by how comfortable people feel in the moment. It is measured by whether your actions remain faithful to justice, honesty, and reason. Many men fear one small word. No, not because the word is difficult, because of everything they imagine will happen afterward. She'll be upset. She'll think I've changed. She'll leave. She won't love me anymore. Without realizing it, they stop making decisions according to virtue. They begin making decisions according to fear. Marcus Aurelius understood this danger. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he reminds himself that he cannot govern the reactions of other people. Some will misunderstand him. Some will disagree with him. Some will act unfairly. Yet none of those possibilities changes what virtue requires. His responsibility is to govern his own conduct, not to control another person's emotions. That lesson transforms every relationship. Because honesty sometimes disappoints. Boundaries sometimes frustrate. Truth sometimes creates temporary distance. Yet none of those things makes honesty unkind. Imagine an ancient oak tree standing through every season. It offers shade, strength, shelter, but it never bends so far that it breaks. Its strength is precisely what allows others to depend upon it. The Stoics believed kindness should resemble that tree, flexible enough to show compassion, strong enough never to abandon principle. Many men believe saying yes proves love. Sometimes it proves fear. Many men believe avoiding difficult conversations protects relationships. Often, it only postpones the pain. The Stoic understands that peace built upon dishonesty is remarkably fragile. Sooner or later, reality always asks for the truth. That is why genuine kindness refuses to become people-pleasing. It refuses to trade integrity for temporary harmony. It refuses to sacrifice long-term trust for short-term comfort. Think about the people you respect most. Are they the ones who always agreed with you? Or the ones who loved you enough to tell you the truth, even when the truth was uncomfortable? Respect grows where honesty lives, not where endless agreement survives. The strongest kindness does not ask, "How can I avoid disappointing you?" It asks, "How can I remain truthful while treating you with dignity?" That question changes everything, because kindness is no longer measured by compliance. It is measured by character. Ironically, people often trust the man who respectfully says no far more than the man who says yes to everything. Because his kindness has weight, his words have meaning, his generosity is freely chosen, not emotionally purchased. That is the quiet strength Marcus Aurelius wanted every man to develop. The courage to remain compassionate without becoming controlled. The courage to remain generous without becoming dependent. The courage to remain loving without losing himself. And once a man reaches that point, he stops trying to become the man everyone approves of. He begins becoming something far more valuable, a man he can genuinely respect. Become a good man, not a pleasing man. There comes a moment when every man must choose between two lives. One life is spent asking, "How do I make people stay?" The other asks, "How do I remain faithful to the man I want to become?" Only one of those lives leads to freedom. The other quietly becomes a prison built from approval. Most men never notice when the shift happens. At first, they simply want to be loved. Then they begin adjusting themselves. They speak more carefully. They hide parts of their personality. They suppress opinions. They tolerate disrespect. They lower standards. They become easier to accept. Little by little, they become harder to recognize. Marcus Aurelius believed that losing another person is painful. Losing your own character is tragic. Imagine a compass that slowly changes direction every time someone else holds it. At first, the movement is almost invisible, a single degree, then another, then another. Months later, the compass still points somewhere. It simply no longer points north. Character follows the same law. Every small compromise feels insignificant. Every abandoned principle seems harmless. Until one day, you realize you have spent years walking towards someone else's destination. The Stoics refuse to live that way. Marcus Aurelius reminds himself in Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, that he will meet selfish, dishonest, arrogant, and unreasonable people. Yet before the day even begins, he chooses something extraordinary. He will not allow another person's character to determine his own. His duty is to remain just, disciplined, patient, and faithful to virtue, regardless of how others behave. That is why the Stoic never asks, "How do I become the man she cannot leave?" He asks, "How do I become the man I would never betray?" those questions lead to completely different lives. One is built upon fear. The other is built upon integrity. Imagine an old cathedral standing for centuries. Generations pass. Kings rise. Empires disappear. Storms strike its walls, yet its foundation remains exactly where it was placed. People admire the beauty above ground. Very few think about the foundation beneath it. Character works exactly the same way. Nobody sees every difficult choice. Nobody witnesses every temptation resisted. Nobody applauds every moment of self-control. Yet those invisible decisions become the foundation of an unforgettable life. That is what Marcus Aurelius wanted every man to understand. Being good does not mean becoming agreeable. Being virtuous does not mean becoming available to everyone. Being compassionate does not mean abandoning yourself. Real goodness requires courage. The courage to disappoint. The courage to walk away. The courage to remain honest. The courage to protect your principles when compromise would be easier. Ironically, the moment a man stops trying to earn love, he becomes capable of giving it freely. Because love no longer becomes a negotiation. It becomes an expression of character. He no longer gives because he fears rejection. He gives because generosity has become part of who he is. He no longer remains loyal because he is afraid of being alone. He remains loyal because loyalty reflects his values. He no longer acts kindly, hoping someone will choose him. He acts kindly because kindness has become his nature. That is the quiet transformation Marcus Aurelius points toward. Stop trying to become a pleasing man. Become a good man. A pleasing man changes according to the room. A good man changes according to wisdom. A pleasing man fears rejection. A good man fears abandoning his principles. One depends on acceptance. The other depends on character. And in the end, only one of them is truly free. Because the greatest relationship you will ever build is not the one that convinces someone else to stay. It is the one that allows you to look in the mirror every morning and deeply respect the man looking back. Tomorrow, someone may misunderstand you. Someone may reject you. Someone may leave. For a moment, your mind will be tempted to ask the same question it has asked so many times before. What should I have done differently? Marcus Aurelius would ask another question, one that changes everything. Did you remain faithful to your character? Because that answer determines far more than whether someone stayed. It determines whether you remained yourself. Think back to everything you have heard today. You discovered that kindness stops being virtue the moment it becomes a negotiation. You learned that people-pleasing is often fear wearing the mask of compassion. You saw how constant self-sacrifice slowly erases identity. You understood why healthy boundaries protect love instead of destroying it. You discovered that appreciation is not the same as affection. You learned that real kindness sometimes says no. And above all, you discovered that becoming a good man is very different from becoming a pleasing one. Every lesson points toward the same truth. Marcus Aurelius never asked, "How can I make people choose me?" He asked, "How can I remain worthy of my own respect?" That single question has guided strong men for nearly 2,000 years. In Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Paragraph 1, he reminds himself that every day he will encounter selfish, dishonest, arrogant, and unreasonable people. Yet before meeting any of them, he makes one quiet commitment. Their behavior will never determine his own. His responsibility is not to earn acceptance. It is to practice justice, patience, wisdom, and self-command regardless of the outcome. That is why rejection never had the power to define him, because his identity never depended upon another person's decision. Many men spend years trying to become indispensable. The Stoics spent their lives becoming irreplaceable to themselves. Those are not the same thing. If someone leaves, you may feel sadness. You may feel disappointment. You may grieve what could have been. The Stoics never asked you to suppress those emotions. They asked you not to surrender your principles because of them, because there is something far more painful than rejection. Looking back one day and realizing you traded your honesty for approval, your dignity for acceptance, your values for temporary affection, that price is always too high. Real love never asks you to become someone else. Real respect never requires you to betray your conscience. Real kindness never demands the destruction of self-respect. Marcus Aurelius understood that virtue is not valuable because it guarantees happy endings. It is valuable because it allows you to remain whole, even when endings are painful. That is the quiet strength of Stoicism. You become kind, without becoming weak, generous, without becoming dependent, compassionate, without becoming controllable, loving, without losing yourself. And when a man reaches that place, something remarkable happens. Rejection no longer becomes proof that he was not enough. It simply becomes evidence that not every path was meant to continue. His worth remains untouched. His character remains intact. His peace remains his own. If this lesson helped you understand relationships through the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism, subscribe to the Discipline Code. Every week, we explore practical Stoic philosophy to help you build self-discipline, emotional resilience, authentic confidence, stronger relationships, and the kind of character that remains unshaken whether people accept you, reject you, or misunderstand you. Until next time, do not spend your life trying to become the man everyone chooses. Become the man who never abandons himself. Because rejection never destroys a good man. Self-abandonment does. And the strongest Stoic is not the man who never loses a relationship. It is the man who never loses his character in order to keep one.